Without thought, Elise reached over and touched the side of his face, the one now nearly healed over from his burns. His skin was warm and smooth, and she felt that she'd never want to stop touching him if she could. Nezka stirred, and his eyes slowly opened to meet hers. They stared at each other without a word for a long while, before he lifted his hand to take hers.
"How are you feeling?"
he asked softly. "Like, what's the opposite of Ethereum?" Elise said. Nezka smiled, if not sadly.
"Sucarium."
"What's that?"
"A state of agony."
"Ah," Elise shifted. "Maybe not that bad. More like just a bad hangover." Nezka released her hand to brush a lock of hair from her face, his smile slipping. "What happened?" Elise asked after a pause.
"You were hit. It was my fault," he said.
"How was it your fault?"
"I should have protected you better. I should have."
He closed his eyes and Elise sighed. "Typical. Well, for what it's worth, I don't blame you." Elise smiled. The scene started to come back to her. "I was in the line of fire. It couldn't be helped. I just wish I had a better gun." She could see Nezka wasn't much happier with her response, so she added, "If you want to apologize, I will forgive you."
"I'm sorry."
"I forgive you." They lay silent again for a long moment as Elise listened to the sounds of the roaring of trams or ships somewhere in the distance, so much quieter now than usual. "Where are we?" Elise asked.
"Some sanctuary. That's all you need to know for now," Nezka replied. "The people here are kind."
Elise nodded her head. "That's nice for once." She looked back at him as he watched her, his gaze lingering over her face, neck, and shoulders. She might as well ask, since she could see the look of concern in his expression. "How bad was I?" Nezka's eyes flicked up to the ceiling, then back to her.
"Pretty bad. The bullet wound was shallow, thanks to the armor. It didn't even pierce all the way through. But the poison..."
"Ah, that explains why I felt awful after," Elise said.
"Yes."
Elise nodded. "Well, I guess it's good you found help in time."
"More like help found me. But yes, I agree,"
Nezka said, his hand squeezing hers gently. Elise knitted her fingers with his and shifted a little closer. "It was worth it, though, you know? I would have rather died than been left at that gatehouse." Nezka frowned.
"I would have never abandoned you or let them keep you."
"I know, but I'm just saying, even if you hadn't got us out, if the worst had happened and you hadn't won that fight," Nezka huffed, "I would have fought to escape. I would have let them gun me down before becoming their plaything or their slave." A shadow passed over Nezka's eyes, and Elise shivered. At the sudden realization of her almost death, Elise wanted to tell him everything, to just open herself to him and let it all come falling out. It was hard, but she wanted him to know. She wanted to let the fear go.